So we're back, guys, and I really want to hear Mir's opinion on the whole thing. I really want to break down and dissect this gameplay trailer. We have nothing better to do until this character comes out. But first off, Mir, what do you think about the trailer? What do you think about Ed and the rework and all that? You excited?
Yeah, I mean, I really like how he looks. The fact that they leaned more into the whole boxer thing and give him a more unique way of fighting is more interesting, especially now that they did away with the kicks, as we're gonna discover later.
So how do you want to do this? You want me to just play the trailer, and you're going? I think you got some notes ready, right? And we're just gonna.
Yeah, I have the notes for the trailers specifically.
We'll just every time we see something, I guess we'll talk about it. We could just chill now, so talk about every little detail.
Yeah. That's the Shadow symbol.
That's JP after season 2. What do you think about this stage, man?
The stage is pretty interesting. There's no purple stages right now, I'm pretty sure, right? So like this is a new color.
The psycho power, like we saw in the teasers, some people were mentioning that like, oh, maybe Ed has some kind of soul power, right?
No, I wanted to mention the music in the background, right? Like the theme for Ed. I'm told that the lyrics are in German.
What?
Yeah, they definitely do sound like they're German. So yeah,
I didn't even notice that. You just blew my mind. Guys, organic conversation. I didn't notice. I swear I did not notice until now. Okay, so Street Fighter 6 music, delicate topic. But besides that, we noticed there's like no lyrics in almost all of the music, including like Rashid, who had lyrics before, right? Famous lyrics. And we assumed, or you assumed, Amir, that it was mostly due to having the commentary enabled while you're playing your matches, so it doesn't get overpowered by it. But now we hear tons of lyrics here for Ed's theme. So like, do you think Capcom's taking a new direction with the music? This is kind of like, I don't know if this would sound good with the commentary, would it? Like, I don't know.
There's two things to say. One is that the lyrics are not very high volume, but it is possible that they just have decided to go for a different direction, right? Like maybe they decided that the commentary thing is just not working out, and they're going for a different approach now.
Yeah, it's possible.
Assuming that like my theory in the first place was correct, right? Like this is
of course we don't know for sure.
And also the lyrics, they're not in English or Japanese, so they won't interfere with commentary because I'm pretty sure there's no German commentary yet, right? So
I don't know. I have no idea. That's really interesting. I think Rashid got done dirty though. Because they changed their minds. Rashid has like one of those famous themes. But I guess it's good, like if Cody, for example, is released in the future, he's got a really cool theme with lyrics. So that's an opportunity right there. Well, back to the stage, Mir. So what do you think of this new stage? A lot of people in the chat pointed out, hey, this is the old Shaolin-based stage from Street Fighter 5. I mean, it's called Ruined Lab, and Shadowloo's try to reassemble the lab, and you can see it's like everything's falling apart because they blew up Shadowloo, and you can see the bison's hand from that old bison statue. Basically, it's 2 stages. This stage is like near the ending of the story mode for Street Fighter 5 at the bottom part, where like Lee Fen was and all that. Spoilers. And the top part where you saw there is that stage, that Shadowloo base stage that lagged a lot online, and it had all
the lair of the 4 kings.
Right, good memory. That stage had a really good theme, by the way. I use that thing for like a lot of my guys. Anyways, there is a statue of Bison with like the evil Star Fox Andross pose around the world, and like you see part of his hand is fell down to the bottom here, and it's like just stuck on the cords and all that. I think that's a nice touch. It's cool. I didn't expect this kind of stage. I was expecting it to be kind of like the Shadowloo stage on Street Fighter 5, where it's more like out on where you see the ships and the base from the outside. But this is cool too. Yeah.
One thing that I have to say though is that immediately, if you look at this stage and you don't know any better, you would imagine that this is a dark stage. But they made a point to show that the characters are clearly visible in the front.
Yeah,
that is something that they have put a lot of effort in. For Street Fighter 6, even in the beta, some of the stages were a little bit darker, and for the full release, that they corrected that.
Yeah,
it's paramount importance for Capcom for everything to be readable. So even though the background of the stage is a little bit dark, the characters still pop out just fine.
Yeah, there's certain fighting games that I know that have really dark stages, and if you're watching on stream, it's kind of hard to see the detail. So it's good that they're mindful on that. I'm not naming any games. I am,
bro. I am the best example of a stage like this. It's infamous. It's in Mortal Kombat X. There's a stage that is at nighttime. It's raining, and there's flashbang from the lightning.
Dude, that's Kino, bro.
And you can't see anything. I forget how it's called. Something temple.
I know what you're
like
talking
the most
about.
extreme case.
So we see they need Ed obviously for his power. They want to use him as a vessel. Like this still the same kind of story from Street Fighter V, what Ed's purpose was in the first place. And you can see all like the different Seth like bodies in the background. But you also see here, Mira, in the center of the stage, whose hat is that? Lying in the chair in the middle there. Who is that? Is that Ed's hat? It's red.
Obviously, Vega's hat.
Yeah, obviously.
The other Vega, the Japanese Vega.
Dude, it's Sagat's hat, dude. And then you can see a mysterious body in the chamber behind it too. Very, very cool. It looks like the story is definitely going in that direction of Shadaloo right now, especially in World Tour.
Well, there's a bunch of those around as well, and they are shown in this trailer. And I guess this ties in with the whole Street Fighter 4 plot line of the clones with Seth and Abel. Right, yeah. Like all of these could be related as well.
Who's Abel?
Like the Shadaloo.
Yeah.
Who's Abel? Is that guy that was disguised as a Shadaloo soldier in Street Fighter 5, and yet it looked exactly as he usually does, except with a helmet?
You remember? I don't know if you remember, but he runs into Guile in his story. And he's like, "Who are you?" And then they start fighting for no reason before they even have a conversation. He just like. Guys like, where's Nash? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because he was like, I've seen that move. It's like, what do you mean you've seen that move? And then they just start beating each other.
Dude, Street Fighter 4 story mode is Kino, bro. It's so good.
Let's see what is shown. So this is Ed.
So yeah, this is Ed. So what is this? Medium punch? It looks like.
Yeah. If you play the entire clip, he seems to be doing a cancel, I guess. It's like, let's assume it's a standing medium punch. I think it's a standing medium punch.
Yeah.
And it seems to cancel into his flicker, which is...
Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. It doesn't cancel. It's one after the other. Pretty sure. Oh, yeah, he goes in the stance.
Like, if you look at his hands, it's like positioning them in the front. I think they're purposely delaying it to show that, you can cancel into the flicker.
Or it could be one of those... things where like there's certain characters in Street Fighter 5, like when you press a button they kind of do an animation if you just
I know what you're talking about, but like immediately afterwards, after this clip, we'll see like a standing heavy punch, I guess. Yeah, and he does the exact same like animation right after.
All right,
it looks pretty organic, like in the sense not organic, sorry, but fluid. So maybe you're right. The flicker is particularly interesting. We have some snippets of the move list from the PlayStation blog, and in the Japanese PlayStation blog, for some reason, they have the classic moveset instead of the modern moveset.
Yeah, I saw that.
No discernible reason aside that they do.
Yeah,
and we see that the flicker is of course to go forward and kick, right?
Yeah,
and this has caused me lots of headaches because we're gonna see it later in the trailer. How there's multiple versions of the flicker because you can hold it down to get the snatcher, right? But it's also mentioned that Ed doesn't have any kick buttons because the kicks are specifically used for the flicker.
Right.
So does that mean that if you press, say, light kick, you get a flicker attack? Or does that mean that you still have to do the motion to get the flicker attack? Or is it both, right? Like, is it a stance? Is it a special move? Is it a stance that goes into like several moves? We'll see later that they're cancelable. There's a lot going on.
Mir, you're confusing me right now. I know less now after talking to you now. I know less.
Yeah. For now, what I will say is that it's standing medium punch and it goes into the low flicker. Let's go with that. And
yeah, let's definitely go with that. We can talk about it more when we see more. One thing my brother pointed out too is that this medium punch looks very similar to Cody's medium punch in Street Fighter 5, which was a fantastic button. A really good button.
I mean, since it's Street Fighter 6, everything is cancelable. So that's the standing heavy punch, I would say, right?
Yeah,
like a standing heavy punch.
Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, that's definitely a standing heavy punch. So we're gonna see here that like it can be Ken's low forward. So the hitbox on this thing must be disgusting, and we know it's cancelable, like you just mentioned. So this button looks really, really good, and he's like kind of leaning forward into it as well. You're gonna be using this button a lot. I wonder what the frame did, how active this thing is.
-8 on block. Anyway, we see that he cancels it into the flicker again, or if it's not a cancel, whatever. There's a flicker coming up.
Yeah, he kind of goes into that stance. I see what you're showing.
So like he does a low here, right? But then he does a mid here. You see how there's different heights, and the first one is, I think, is an actual low.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I'm like, man, would this be broken if it was actually a low? But it could be.
It appears faster than the other. So maybe the difference is what they do rather than like as in their speed and frame data rather than whether it's a mid or a low.
Yeah.
But some characters have medium kicks that go this far. So I don't think it would be unreasonable, assuming that
you probably can't go into much. You probably can't convert into much from it. It'd be kind of like Honda's forward heavy kick, where it just kind of stops people from walking back out of Ed's range and spacing out, and it just keeps people locked down. It'd be really good if it hits low. I hope it does, man. I really hope so.
Well, the second one we saw is a mid, and then we see here that it's like 3 follow-ups.
Yeah,
it's like light, and it reminds me a little bit of the old 1, 2, 3, but it's not the 1, 2, 3. It's just flicker.
I was thinking it looks fast enough to beat DI.
It's possible, yeah. Another thing is that the low flicker that we saw before, later in the trailer we see that it is cancelled, so that is also an option.
Yeah. Another thing too.
But yeah, that is interesting. That means that you have not just single attacks from flicker, but like an entire target combo. I guess you could call it with high.
Yeah, almost like a Rekka almost. So we see here too, like you look at Aki, how far she's standing from Ed, and like Ed's moving closer and closer each time. Like he's in throw range after this.
It's potentially different start than that medium that we, or not that medium, sorry, that mid that we see earlier, right? Like the first attack of the string of 3 seems a little bit faster. So it's possible that this is input with, let's say the first one is light kick, just for convenience. And then there's a medium kick, which is the other one that we saw.
Yeah.
This one could be back and light kick, for example, because I know that there's a high version, like an N-tier version, that is shown later. So there's more than 3 follow-ups, which if kicks are used to input them, then it means that there's also a direction to keep in mind that you can use to,
I guess it kind of makes sense if I guess it makes sense if your theory is right, just because if they eliminate all of his kick buttons, like that's a large part of a character's move list that's gone. So you at least want as much depth as possible replacing those kick buttons with a special move that ties in, because like, what is he going to do in the air with those kicks? Probably nothing, or when he's crouching, you know what I'm saying? So like it does make sense that they give you a lot of options if you're losing those 3 buttons. So it's like half your normals.
Or going back to what I was saying earlier, how there's a cycle flicker special move, right? I wonder if you can do flicker attacks without doing the special move, just by inputting, say, light kick, medium kick, or heavy kick, and that's how you get the different follow-ups. So that's also a possibility. The problem is that we just don't know, right? We don't have enough information, so I'm kind of like guessing as to what the possibilities could be. It could be all of the ones that I said.
Yeah,
like,
it could be.
I have no evidence to support any of those.
Yeah, for sure. That's exciting though.
As a special move. So we see here how the low flicker is cancelable because he, or at least he does. If it's not a cancel, that's follow-ups, right? He goes low, high, and then an overhead, I guess.
Yeah,
and then knockdown.
So
this could be another target combo, another flicker.
Yeah. So he has an overhead that knocks down. You think they did that specifically to make sure his like level 2 super is not broken?
I mean, you could pick up into the level 2 because they bounce off the ground, right? So maybe they bounce into the super for a while.
Yeah, maybe. Oh man, yeah, maybe you're right.
It could be just because it's a string, right? So maybe they just wanted to behave that way to prevent, questionable situations from happening. I'm not sure. I mean, assuming that it's even an overhead, right? Because it could not. It might just be.
It looks like an overhead, but yeah, you might be right. Maybe it's not. Like Ed didn't have an overhead in Street Fighter V. Like that was.
To be fair, like everyone has an overhead in one form or another in this game.
In Street Fighter 6, yeah. So like that's one thing that's gonna make his level 2 really good, and the fact that all the drive reversals in this game aren't like side switch drive reversals. So it's funny too, in Street Fighter 5, Ed, like he did technically overhead you by doing fuzzies, like he did like jumping light kick. He had like some setups to hit you. So I'm really curious how this will work. This might be one of the key things that Ed will do to pressure you while you're blocking his level 2 super.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. So we see another target combo here.
Okay, yeah, I for that one I wrote down medium heavy. I'm not sure if it is medium heavy. It could be like a crouching attack.
Okay.
But it seems to launch the opponent.
And we see the Ed double hoodie here too, by the way.
Yeah, the double hoodie.
Yeah, and we see Aki get knocked up. Looks like he can follow up, but you know, the trailer just showing quickly his target combos.
Yeah, and then we see a jumping heavy punch into a punch sweep. Presume it says
yeah,
crouching heavy punch
this is like the point of the trailer when I realized, hey, this character has no kicks like at all. Like it's just showing punches. So
and we have confirmation from Capcom that they doesn't have kicks, like they said, right? So
which is cool, and so he is more of like a Balrog sweep instead of his absurd crouching heavy kick in Street Fighter 5, where it was like insanely active.
Yeah, I think it was
12.
9-frame active, something.
It was like something so ridiculous,
really
dude.
Funny.
It was something so stupid. Yeah, this is cool though. Looks like it has really good range and the jump in as well. So after this sweep here, then we see the anti-air version of the.
Yeah, so like that looks like a flicker because there's the little streak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's shown as a punish counter, but honestly, Aki timed that jumping heavy kick really poorly. So
I like how you know.
I don't know if it's meant to show that it's invincible or whatever, but I don't know. That looks
yeah,
like
that's pretty
movie magic, you know.
That's pretty rough. They had to make sure. it was gonna work. Yeah, I don't know. The angle of this is pretty good though.
But it's a high one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like the others. So that's why I was saying that there's like a fourth follow-up if it is a follow-up, right?
Okay.
Maybe it's down and kick or whatever, right? Because like anti-air.
Yeah, it's a possibility. This is definitely the range that it's anti-airing mirror is the range that someone would jump if they're trying to avoid the ground flickers in the first place. It's like right at that 45-degree angle. I'm by the way, I was getting a lot of vibes like at the beginning of the trailer, like Aki, because of her serpent lash, and the angle she hits obviously is a straight up on her heavy version, and then her medium and light version are at the 45-degree angle and straight forward. So just a little different from Ed, but I was just thinking about Aki when I was seeing those moves in the first place.
I guess there's another mention to make here, which is how there's classic and modern controls for Ed.
Yeah.
And by Capcom's admission, basically they said, oh, you know, the way Ed used to play Street Fighter 5, we just incorporate it into modern controls.
Yeah.
So the thing that's that I wonder about is that I assume light, medium, heavy will give you your punches. And the flicker is a special move now, right? Because you don't have access to your kicks. So how do you do different versions of flicker if you can't even do different versions of flicker? And someone brought up that Rashid actually can do his charge fireballs in different ways by holding back or forward on modern.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
That's cool.
So I am assuming that it's gonna be a similar thing for Ed, where holding a direction changes the type of flicker that you get.
That's
because
cool.
Otherwise, you know, you'd be stuck with one flicker and probably be because you cannot manually input it, right? Not having kicks, right?
Exactly.
So that's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah.
If how it plays out, because maybe modern Ed will be the most viable modern character if he can do that.
Yeah, he would have like a huge tool set. Okay, now we see this Marisa looking Superman punch.
Right. I think it's basically his replacement for his old standing heavy kick. Right. And I guess it's a forward heavy punch of some kind, you know, like instead of a hop kick, it's like a hop punch. That's what I'm assuming it is. Probably, gets a combo and punish counter sort of thing, right? Like if you hop over a low.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It definitely doesn't look like it goes high enough to go over a fireball. Like it's used just straight for pressure. Not like Marisa's, you know, it's not gonna have armor and B+ on.
No, I think it's a normal. I don't think it's a special move.
Right, exactly.
But it probably has enough recovery to, like a DI or whatever.
See,
taunt.
And taunt. The squeaky shoes, I like the squeaky shoes.
Yeah, and this is the transition where we go to special move.
Right.
So something interesting that's shown here is that he does a crouching light.
Yeah.
Right? And it's probably a crouching light punch. Maybe it's a down back light punch, I guess, because it looks like it has no range. And it probably hits low. It's basically a crouching light kick replacement, right? And I wonder how this is input. Or inputted, I'm not sure how you'd say it. Because I wonder if it is crouching light punch, if it is, I don't know, down forward light punch, down back light punch, or if it is, crouching light kick. And then it gives you a punch instead. But like they specifically said that kicks were used for flicker moves, so it makes me think that that's probably not the case.
Yeah, it could be different when he's crouching, like you mentioned before. And yeah, it could be like Dalsum, where he's holding down back, or specifically a low, or his four framer if you just hold down.
Yeah, or maybe his crouching light punch just sucks.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. I doubt it though, since he's supposed to be the boxer.
But I'm assuming that this is slow, and then he goes into a light punch target combo. That's what it looks like.
It looks like
and
it.
And then this is his new move, Psycho Blitz, which is not new because it's like his old Psycho Flicker.
Yeah, they mentioned it, like his Flicker is now called Blitz, but then he still has another move that's like Flicker. But the big difference, besides the big difference, is the range, right? Of the 1, 2, 3, and of course it's a motion as well.
Yeah, and there seems to be different versions of this as well.
So this is what core circle back punch in the block.
Let me check the move list. And
yeah, go ahead and check. I think it was a core circle back punch that would be in line with Honda's 100 hand slap, and this would obviously beat
Psycho Blitz.
DI
yes,
as well.
Core circle back punch.
Okay,
yeah, it's core circle back punch.
And I mean, obviously this would beat DI, and it doesn't knock down, and it leaves Aki standing right in front of him. Barely pushes her back too, so that's kind of strange. In Street Fighter V, they later gave Ed an update where he had a follow up to his flicker if he used meter, and he can get a knockdown that way. But I doubt I doubt this thing's gonna be plus on block mirror. Like I'm sure they're not gonna want Ed to play the same way where he's just constantly doing poke into blitz constantly.
It's possible it would be safe though, or if anything, have some pushback.
Maybe the strength determines if they get knocked down. Like maybe because he went into a light target combo, you said, so maybe he has to go into the light version of blitz, and that's why.
Yes, yeah, I believe so. Okay, now we see the Psycho Spark, which is this projectile that you didn't want back, but is back.
That I did not want back. Thanks for rubbing that in, Mir.
But anyway, I really like the new animation. I think it looks.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I was pointing that out too. During my reaction, just the blur effect and just the RE engine looks really cool. You can see the blur around his fist during the fireball, and it looks. It wasn't like hard to nullify projectiles with a forward medium punch, but it looks kind of more active, easier to do it. More like Nash's V Skill 1, I would compare it to. And the motion has changed too, I believe, Mir. Instead of doing forward medium punch into punch, it's now core circle forward punch into forward punch. Am I right? Right? Okay.
That's correct, yeah. We see that the projectile, it's actually really fast. Like it travels quickly.
I didn't know
which is in contrast to the OD version, which we're gonna see later, which is instead quite slow.
Okay.
So
I didn't notice.
Unless actually, now that I think about it, there might be more to it, and I guess we'll get there when we get there because it is shown multiple times. There could be multiple versions of it. Which
you think this fireball goes full screen?
Or the OD, I'm sorry.
You think it goes full screen?
That's a good question. I don't know. It used to go full screen in 5, right? So
I mentioned one of the reasons why I didn't want Ed to have a projectile is because I don't want more character, like the meta right now. There's a lot of fireball drive rush kind of meta going on in Street Fighter 6, and I don't want Ed to rely on it. Like I feel like when I played Aki, there's just so much knockdown, fireball, drive rush, get a free mix. I want Ed to be more playing at the the flicker distance, right? Being a kind of a keep away kind of character. But since you mentioned this fireball is faster, Mir, he would have a hard time going fireball drive rush at the projectile moves quickly outside of the OD version, of course, because it'd have to be slow.
Well, it's also a very long startup, right? Because he has to do the
that's another good point,
and then the follow up.
That's another good point.
That could potentially be problematic to use in neutral. It's more like a tool that he uses to defeat other fireballs. So it's basically his anti-fireball option.
If the whole process looks pretty slow though, like I don't think. Let's say he was standing close to like a Shoto. Let's say like Luke or Ryu or Ken. Like, would it be fast enough for him to actually punish a fireball if he deflected it during the startup and then did the follow up immediately?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say. I didn't count frames, so.
When you saw the OD version, I guess I'm getting ahead here, but did he OD the follow up or was the entire process OD?
I think it was the entire process.
Oh, okay.
Because the OD is shown deleting an OD projectile. So like,
okay.
We're gonna look at that later when we get.
All right, no problem. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention about this. Yeah, I just
get a punish counter.
I mean, like I said, this was a clever design for Ed in Street Fighter V because they figured out a way to make it so that because him having a one button fireball would be really strong, so they purposely made it a 2-step process to slow it down. So now we see it again in Street Fighter 6, but obviously we don't have that problem with because of modern controls and the way the game is designed. So
yeah,
I just wonder how Ed will be able to deal with zoners. Like, obviously it looks too slow to beat a zoner himself, which is good because he's supposed to be a boxer. But how would he deal with a character like Guile, for example? You know, if he was just chucking booms at him and he was trying to like stay alive and not be put in burnout, for example.
Oh, I guess going back to the fact that the projectile is very fast, I kind of assume that there's like no versions, but there probably are versions. So maybe that's the heavy version goes very fast, and maybe
that's a good point.
The light version could be much slower.
Okay, next thing.
Right after we're shown that Psycho Upper is invincible, at least upper body.
Yeah, it's still called Psycho Upper, right?
Yeah, it should be, as far as I have seen. Yeah, Psycho Uppercut, I guess.
So they changed this from a 2-punch input. Now it's an uppercut input. Now it's a DP.
Yeah, it's actual DP. Yes.
So I think looking through the trailer mirror, he uppercuts at different angles depending on the strength. But maybe I was seeing it
wrong.
No,
I think you're right. We see at least 2 versions. Yeah, we see at least 2 versions.
So
I'll mention when we see them. I think one is specifically for picking up in combos, and another one is like the invulnerable version.
So what they're showing in the trailer here is they're just showing specifically, hey, this has anti-air invincibility at the very least, right? Because Aki's doing the
it could be movie magic. I think they might be showing it before the Venomous Fang hits.
Oh, okay.
If anything, it has upper body. I think that's probably what they were showing with that.
Okay.
Because it's like potentially not invulnerable like that, you know.
Right.
But I mean, I think they are showing invulnerability. Like that's the idea, or at least priority, right? Like, oh, it beats other special moves, sort of thing.
So let's keep going, and then it shows the same move but with a different strength.
Yes.
And this is going straight up.
There's a mention in the chat of another move that he has where he can do like these kind of like dashing uppercuts. But the reason why these are psycho uppercuts is because he doesn't have kind of like a trail. Like he has a kind of like an after image, a psycho after image when he does those moves. The other ones, the kill switch,
the V skill 2 replacement or whatever.
Yeah, and these ones don't have it, so it leads me to believe that this is a psycho uppercut.
Okay, well, just point that out again when we see it. One thing I want to point out too, Mir, is like you were talking about the lighting of the stage, and there was a lot of talk about Ed's, like he looked really sickly. But if you look at his skin here, like you can see it's like well lit up. He looks like normal. Like he doesn't look like he's, having the flu or whatever. Just wanted to point that out. Like it seems like the whole theory of like maybe Ed's body decomposing is like not actually a thing.
I don't know. I think it just looks continental European. There's not a lot of sunlight.
You would know, Mir.
I would know. Well, actually, no. Theory.
Come on, let's keep going. Quickly change the subject here.
Right, so that's
so he did
another
a
version of the upper, which goes, like really high above his head, and then this is the other follow-up, or not follow-up, sorry, other strength.
So he's doing uppercut into uppercut.
Yes, I think so.
That would feel really good to do, guys. In before you do accidental super. This would feel very satisfying to do. Okay, here we go. This is where it gets crazy.
Now we see how
this is where it gets confusing.
The light flicker goes into a heavier version of the blitz, and it seems to knock down.
This has to be minus, man. Like, this would be something.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, this has to be minus. This is just too crazy. If this was plus, like you'd able, like assuming this thing hits low, this would be nuts. That's cool though. Like look how far he's attacking you, and it causes the knockdown, like you said. Okay, so I'm confused here, Mir. This is now it's showing the flicker and it's amplified.
Yeah. Now I will explain where my crackpot theory from earlier comes from. So we're shown that you can do these mini snatchers. In my notes, I called them baby snatchers at first, and I was like, wait a minute. But anyway,
whoa. Okay.
The way this move works is when you do the psycho flicker input, you can hold the button and it will give you a snatcher.
Yeah.
So my theory is that if you tap it, right, you do quarter circle forward kick, you get flicker, whichever version, right, and different heights and stuff. If you hold it just a little bit like a partial hold, you get this version of the snatcher that we're seeing here that works kind of like a projectile.
And
then if you do a full hold, you get the full-on snatcher that pulls you in that we're gonna see later.
That sounds complicated.
Yeah, I mean Street Fighter 6. We see it in the clip right after. So
hold on, just one
that
sec.
basically gives this flicker extra range and power, right?
So the downside is it's slower. A slower startup.
Yeah, and I guess it's not cancelable.
Okay.
Yeah, you see how he's holding and then he gets the full snatcher.
I'm just trying to see the speed differences. I think your theory is correct because it even lights up. Hopefully it's not
the
a
light up
timing
is
thing.
just for when he releases it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like as a tell.
Yeah. It's not like Luke's like perfect knuckle.
Well, chat's saying this is not a theory, but like the problem is it goes back into what we were saying before, how we do not know how the normal flicker moves are performed, because unlike these snatchers, right, those other ones are cancelable, which is weird. Normally special moves are not cancelable into other special moves, right? So that's why I'm so confused as to how the flicker is performed, which is why I was wondering maybe you do those in neutral just by pressing kicks, right? But the other thing is that this could be kind of like a stance, like Chun-Li's Serenity Stream, where some moves from that stance have special rules where they can be canceled, even though they're part of a special move, right? So maybe that's what's going on. I'm not sure. That's the reason why I'm, like theorizing that it works this way.
You think if Aki blocked this, it would still push her towards Ed? It would be plus, like his V skill 1.
Possible. I think there is a chance. I don't know how plus, and I don't know how much. Maybe if you parry it, that doesn't drag you in. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, maybe it could be just like, I don't know. I think there should be a reward for charging it that long, so I can't imagine it being super minus. So anyways, yeah, they try jumping away from him, and then he gets a juggle, and then he combos into another flicker.
It's like an anti-air flicker, yeah. It's anti-air snatcher, actually, it looks like, because there's a cycle.
Did he have enough time to charge it again to the level 2 version?
Otherwise,
yeah, interesting.
See? Like he holds it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, this is the kill switch, which is another one of his.
So this was his old V skill too, but they changed it now.
Right. So like when he does these dashes, right, he has the opportunity to do a forward dash. Right, and then he has follow-ups out of it.
Okay,
and it's two different kinds of uppercuts. The blog calls them what was it? I think it was chaser and
smash or something.
Break. Killswitch break is a short, useful uppercut for closing distance. Killswitch chaser sees Ed unleash a powerful uppercut that sends the opponent spiraling in the air. Make it easy to follow up with a combo. So one is basically a launcher for a combo, and another one is like a little gap closer.
So I'm assuming it shows them each now. That's the knockdown. That's that one you see Aki spinning.
Yeah, that one's the launcher. Yeah.
Okay. So is this gonna go through projectiles like his V skill too? The dash.
Maybe the OD version if there is one.
Yeah, maybe it'd be too strong if you could. This has got to be minus on block though. Like this looks more to me like an anti-projectile move or something. Or something you combo into. Like I doubt he's just gonna be throwing these out. Like
yeah, I don't think the launcher one is safe.
Like if it was a charge move, it would be like more like a Balrog straight punch. But no, since this is, did it say what the input was?
What the input was for this? It was. Let me see again. It's not on the thing.
It's not on the thing. Hey, charge move confirmed, guys. He's not charging. Could be movie magic. My last attempt, guys, at the charge. That was my last hurrah.
It could be charging in between.
So here's the trailer talking about. This is a good like pause for it, so you can see the difference between that and his cycle upper.
It's probably to prevent it from being, too abusable as a dash as well, so you can see it more easily.
Okay, so we see the back dash now.
And then we see that he does a back sway. So like this is similar to
DJ.
DJ.
Okay.
He doesn't have any follow-ups out of this though, apparently, according to the blog anyway.
Okay. So he does.
So the recovery seems fairly noticeable.
Yeah, he doesn't go for a shimmy. Instead, they just do like a crazy double DI thing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you would obviously use this to bait a throw. Like that's like the main thing. So that's
like the thing is that you wouldn't be able to punish, which I guess is what this situation is showing, because Aki actually DIs first.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could just, because I'm assuming someone would delay tech, but I'm sure you'd be able to bait and punish or something.
There's two possibilities here, right? One is that the recovery is less than this, and they're just like letting it rock for a cinematic effect.
Yeah.
Or that it's intended for other things, like baiting certain
like
reversals, maybe. Like it could have some invulnerability, limited invulnerability. But yeah, then we see the DI and a little DI combo.
Yeah, maybe like I said, season 2 nerfs the DJ, and they're like, okay, we can't have another problem with this sway being like abused like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. That's so cool. He has a sway, by the way, man. Like from the teaser, I was so hoping he'd have a sway.
He seems to be doing like a crushing medium punch into crushing heavy punch target combo of some kind. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Into a level 1.
Yeah, this level 1, it looks just okay. I'm just talking about from a gameplay point of view. Like the range is not something insane. I would assume it's gonna be DI. Like it'll be used as, it'll be invincible on a reversal.
Yeah, it's probably just generic.
Like nothing special. Like doesn't side switch. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you can use this as a anti-air. Maybe you can hit somebody if they jump from really far away. I'm just trying to think of its like application compared to the other levels in the game. It just looks okay. Animation wise though, it looks sick. Like where he sweeps in the foreground and background. I kind of wish he would hit on both sides, because I really like Ed's super in Street Fighter V. And I think it would be much cooler if he went back and forth while doing this.
Just circling around you.
Yeah. By the way, Ed does this really creepy evil laugh here.
Well, look at his chest. You see that it's glowing with psycho power?
Yeah, what's up there?
I think he's having some possession going on, possession moment right there.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's indoctrinated, right? Like they've been all brainwashed. And he's one of the ones that like managed to escape. And I think this is him fighting with his evil self, I guess. The shadow.
He already sounds evil enough. I
think that's what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't expect that when I saw that. I was like, wait, what?
And then we see this costume.
By the way, I think this costume looks so much better than it did in Street Fighter V.
I really like it. I mean, the hoodie is obviously a reference to like his young self.
Yeah.
Right. He also has the barcode on his shoulder, which reminds me a lot of Agent Codename 47 from Hitman. Okay. He has a barcode on the back of his head.
I just keep going.
But no, I was gonna say I like the mix of his hoodie with the like the shorts and the leg warmers. I think it works nice.
I think it looks sick, dude.
The baggy pants.
Yeah, I think it looks really, really good in this game. It's just funny because every time I see this, because when before Ed was released in Street Fighter V, we saw the younger version of Ed. We didn't know he was gonna get jacked on Psycho Power, so everyone thought like, oh, this is what his base costume was gonna be, was the hoodie, and he's gonna be like this scrawny teenager. But it didn't turn out like that at all. And then all of a sudden he's juiced out and he's older, and then they still use the same hoodie, and then it just kind of looked a little weird because he's older in that same hoodie. So now it looks like it suits him a lot better.
It does remind me of kind of like Donald Duck wardrobe, where he has like all of the same clothes, in the sense that he had this hoodie when he was a kid, he had this hoodie when he was a teenager, basically, right? Street Fighter 5, and now he has this hoodie when he's older. So like he either really likes this one and keeps stretching it, or he's bought like several ones.
Yeah.
And now the trailer shows us the throws.
Okay, so they're showing him canceling out of the charge.
Yeah, right. So like he's doing this Natcher and he's canceling specifically into the backsway. That's not a backdash, I don't think. That's the backsway out of the...
I see the trail when he does it. Yeah, like I'm having a hard time pausing it, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and then we see how that baits out an attack and he punish counters with a throw. Yeah,
he baits the Dragon Lash kick. I guarantee you, Mir, like if you try doing this in an actual match, like what's showing in the trailer right now, and this happens, I'm sure Ken's still gonna hit you. It's still gonna track you and hit you.
Well,
and
because he's gonna do driver standing heavy punch instead.
Oh yeah, that too. Or he'll throw a fireball and then Ed's gonna, he's be like, oh no, and then Ken's like, coming at you, and then you're in the corner. Or throw.
Yeah.
Look at the distance he throws you. What is that? Look how far
he still has a throw loop in the corner though.
Yeah, I mean in the corner it won't matter, but it's just interesting for a character that's like mostly melee to throw you so far away like that. But once again, like Ed's more of a kind of a keep out kind of style character.
It depends, right? Because it could give him good ulti, right? To get a free dash up and still be relatively close. And now we see
Charge Heavy
Psycho Knuckle, which looks very cool. I like it.
What did the blog mention about it, or did it mention it?
About Psycho Knuckle?
Yeah, did it mention it?
Honestly, I did not.
Like this is Charge Heavy Punch, right? Like this is definitely not. It
doesn't seem to show up as Knuckle, if anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing it might be an input, or sorry, not input, but like a different command now. But yeah, he's obviously charging it to go through the fireball, and we see how it goes through the fireball.
In Street Fighter V, it didn't go through fireballs.
No, it did not.
So this is definitely new. This is crazy. It's still side switches, but in certain circumstances, if you were close, I believe, Mir, you stayed on the same side if you hit with it. And
yes, because it had like a canned follow-up like turnaround, I guess.
Yeah. Anti-Ryu tech. I'm sorry, I'm just reading what Joe said in the chat. It's funny.
It's interesting because we get a very peculiar combo right after, which works only on the standing opponent. He does the anti-air flicker.
That is,
and peculiar. That, as you can see, like gives enough frame advantage to combo what looks like mediums, right? Like medium punch, medium punch.
Yeah, so he has light punch, medium punch, medium punch.
Sorry?
I was just going over the past target combos. There was light punch, medium punch, medium punch.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe heavy punch, or like medium punch, heavy punch, whatever. Like we saw another target combo. So there's a crouching medium punch, crouching heavy punch. It looked like as well. But then he cancels into the flicker, which he holds for the snatcher.
Okay, but I'm confused though. Like, isn't flicker supposed to be a normal?
Well, it's a special as well. That's what I was saying earlier.
Oh, yeah. I'm not really confused.
It's listed as a special.
Yeah, I'm really confused now.
It's basically. Well, to go over it briefly again, and why it is confusing.
I'm so confused.
No, and why it is confusing is that the blog specifically mentions how kick normals are used for flicker attacks. Now, whatever that means, we don't know, because we also have a picture of the move list where the flicker is listed as quarter-circle forward kick.
And it's not the blitz, it's saying. The blitz is quarter-circle back punch.
It's the flicker. It's the flicker.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the flicker it is also listed as you can hold the input to get an enhanced version, which is the snatcher.
Okay.
Right? You do it from the same move. Now the question is whether or not those quick attacks that we see, those quick flicker attacks, if they're part of this special move, or if they're a separate entity that you do just by pressing, light kick, medium kick, heavy kick.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that we don't know, and that's the part that confuses me because I can't figure that out. It's not easy from the trailer to really figure that out. So,
well, either way, this flicker has a lot of uses. That's the takeaway from this. We can OD it and we can cancel it, and it has multiple ranges. So then he combos into a Psycho Upper here. This whole process is a pretty big punish and its side switches. I just want to bring up too with the charge heavy punch mirror. Like, I'm curious how this will be on block, because it, like, in Street Fighter 5, Ed had this dumb gimmick where he would charge heavy punch whenever he was close to the corner, and then you would have to guess between a throw and OD Psycho Upper. Like, it was the stupid like -2 thing. And
well, also another thing is that he could pretend to be doing standing heavy punch by letting it go halfway through.
All right, yeah, it had a feint part to it. It's true. I forgot about that.
It was just It was just standing heavy punch charged, and you could like go at any point.
If you released
I wonder what this behaves like.
Yeah, if you released it early, then it just became a normal heavy punch. Yeah, that's true.
A cool combo though. I like it.
Yeah, it is
backdashing a throw in the corner.
Yeah, that's very meta that they showed that. This is very like high level Street Fighter specifically, like anti-throw loop tech. Very interesting they showed it.
It's a good thing that they show this because now we can see what his backdash looks like, and that what he's doing out of the flicker when he's holding it.
Yeah,
like the snatcher that we saw cancel before is not this. Like this is a backdash, and that one was a sway.
Oh yeah, basically. Good point. That's true. And yeah, and they're showing a very practical situation where you'd be using back throw. The next best thing mirror would be he wakes up and gets a perfect parry and then back throws Ken. The mirror favorite.
Someone mentioned that the hand in the background's fallen, which I think is a good spot. I didn't notice.
Oh, that's cool. Nice attention to detail.
The hat's still there. Okay, so like there, I think they specifically show that the OD upper is invulnerable. In a pure edge fashion done as a meaty.
Yeah, I was looking at this. I was like, are they trying to show that it's invulnerable? Because Ken's doing his reversal, but Ed's pretty far. You could interpret this as like, oh, Ken's airborne, that's why it's beating it. But I think they're trying to show, hey, and this is a very Ed thing to do, by the way. Like, he does his Psycho Upper OD, like, right in front of you when you're getting up.
I think it shows multiple things. For one, it's a callback, right? Let's just haha fun me.
Yeah.
But it shows that it's slower than the OD uppercut.
Okay.
And it has more invulnerability. Well, I mean, assuming that it is not done immediately, right? Because of course, you would have some Oki on the throw.
Hopefully it's not too slow, because in Street Fighter 5 it was slow enough where you could bait it with a meaty light, like Urian's reversal as well. Mm-hmm. And then you can use it as a true reversal, but I don't think that's the case.
It was also so slow that it enables strategies like dash forward, EX upper.
It's super annoying. Another thing that's annoying too is like I would knock down an Ed and then I would bait the reversal, but since you naturally delay tech just in case they don't do a reversal to defend yourself against a throw, then you get hit by the Psycho Upper anyways. Super tilting. Anyways, there's a follow-up to this.
What's it's like hand animation, I think, right?
Okay, so it hits twice.
Looks. Oh, actually, it almost looks like a cancel. Now that you mention it, but it might just be like I can't follow.
This is kind of like what he did at the end of the teaser when after he used that snatcher and he like slammed the cardboard box dude down almost. Yeah, I don't know if it's canned or not. I'm trying to imagine if like maybe it has a canned animation just to make it so that if you did bait this, Ed would be even more punishable. It'd give you more time to punish him, possibly. Another thing, too, I was just thinking about this, was his uppercuts, the angles that they're at, they're very peculiar. And I wonder if he'll be able to cross-cut. his uppercuts. I wonder if this would be a weakness. Like, will you be able to cross up Ed a lot?
Well, he has one that hits very high up, right? That we've seen before, the one that you can follow up.
Yeah, the straight up one. Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, so
like
that I feel like would be good material for crosscuts.
Because like his anti-airs, like I wonder if that's gonna be a weakness of Ed, because his anti-airs seem to be just all commands. Like he's got the flicker and he's got the uppercut, but these are like slower commands, obviously. But I don't see any buttons that he would use. Because in Street Fighter 5, he had Crouching Fears.
There's something interesting. So like one is we saw that target combo was like Crouching Medium Punch, Crouching Heavy Punch.
Yeah.
Assuming that Crouching Heavy Punch has the animation of his actual Crouching Heavy Punch.
Uh-huh.
Then that looks like a serviceable anti-air.
Yeah.
It's pretty vertical, and that could work.
Yeah, maybe I'm overthinking it.
Another thing is, in Street Fighter 5, Ed was notable for having Psycho Rising, which was his anti-air, which is not seen in this trailer.
Yeah, technically it was a kick. So, yeah, and they balanced it by making it really, really slow. Honestly, it was just a whack animation. Like, I'm glad they got rid of it.
You didn't like it? I like it.
No, I thought it was whack, dude. I just like the fact that like Ed feels like a true boxer now, and someone who was trained by Balrog with his own style, and since he's young, he's fast, and they don't go overboard with the psycho power. Where I just feel like he was more of a psycho power user than a boxer in Street Fighter 5. Maybe it's just the way I see it. I just didn't like a lot of the way that some attacks looked, like the way the flicker was and the Psycho Rising for sure. It just seemed like he wasn't a boxer, but now he truly does, especially when he has the sway now.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this is crazy. This was my favorite part of the trailer right here.
So this is where other crackpot theories show up, whereas they say, this is the nerfed hurt box of Ken's Crouching Medium Kick for Season 2. But
wait, what?
It's
who's saying that? Is that on Twitter?
No, I just saw some people talking about it. But it's like maybe they're trying to show us something for Season 2 here, or maybe they're not, right? Maybe they're just showing us that this works and that's it. We're looking too much into it, but regardless, this is a good counterpoke or Whip Punisher. It's
absolutely amazing. This is during Ken's recovery, but it's showing how big the hitbox is. It's massive. That it's going to hit low attacks. This is the button you're going to use if your spacing is correct, and the fact that it's a heavy and the fact that it's cancelable. We're like walk into like Luke, Ken, Ryu heavy punch territory here. This looks like one of Ed's keys buttons. It looks super powerful.
Yeah.
Look at this reward.
He cancels into the flicker, which we've established you can go into this matcher. Yeah. Then he does a fireball and then a drive rush combo.
Right. So he does the fireball with the follow up. So the fireball speed, I'm trying to take a look at it. If it's slower.
This one seems slow, right?
Does it?
So like it's probably different versions, right? Like it doesn't travel very fast.
Yeah, maybe he did the heavy first, and now that's the light. I'm still wondering, like that light looks really slow. I doubt that goes full screen, man. Like, come on, there's no way that goes full screen.
I hope it doesn't. Yeah, I hope it doesn't.
That would be ridiculous.
Maybe it's like Kikoken,
Yeah, it's hard to see. We barely get to see it, but there's no way that's gonna go full screen. Okay, anyways, but by the way, we don't see much drive rush in general in this trailer from Ed. I just want to point that out.
It costs 25 meters in Season 2. No.
yeah. The speed. The speed.
It's not particularly fast.
It doesn't look particularly fast.
Right.
It seems okay, but it seems like it's for combos. It's not fireball, drive rush.
And then he does drive rush standing heavy punch again into the kill switch chaser, I think, or I think
he spins. You see Ken spinning. That's how we know.
I think the combo ends though. I'd imagine that there's not enough juggle potential afterwards. Maybe a super in the corner. Oh, well, sorry. Well, I guess the combo ends after the 4 heavy punch. That's what I meant to say.
He goes in the super punch after. So we know it's
because it's like I don't think here you get anything after this. This is like the optimal end there for mid screen probably.
Yeah. So now this tells us that this move also has good juggle properties attached to it too.
Yeah.
Pretty cool combo. Like this
is pick something else.
Like I said, I can't emphasize on this enough of how fantastic of a whiff punish tool his heavy punch is. This whole conversion is quite amazing.
Especially if it is also associated with the Psycho Knuckle, right? Assuming that it is the same input where you can hold it.
I mean, even like I said, like he doesn't. I guarantee you, like when Ed is released, you won't even use this. You're probably just gonna go straight into Drive Rush, into another heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's usually like the kind of meta of this game. This whole process.
It's something that I would like to mention, right?
Sure.
About what I just said, that the Psycho Knuckle used to be, it's just this charged standing heavy punch, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you do when you're with punishing attacks in Street Fighter is that instead of just looking out for the recovery, you already prepare yourself by seeing the startup, right? And then you know, okay, now I know that I can whiff punish the attack. Like you already see the attack coming, right? And that's how you prepare. But when you have an attack that can be charged and released at any time, that kind of like screws with you because you cannot use the startup anymore as a guess as to when the recovery is gonna be, right? So that could be quite annoying to whiff punish if it doesn't have a lot of recovery when it whiffs. So I hope Capcom made it, like stay out there a long time, basically is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because Ed's standing heavy punch was difficult with punish because of that, like annoying,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Right, because it's tied to 2 moves. Alright, let's keep going. That was a cool combo. So this was
okay.
There's a
Now
lot
we
going
see
on here.
here. Yeah, we see here how the OD fireball, the first part, cancels an entire Ken fireball, OD fireball. So like it's at least 2 hits.
Or yeah, but yeah, it's at least 2 hits and plus the new projectile armor properties in Street Fighter 6 or whatever.
Well, when it's 2 OD projectiles, it behaves like as if it were normal fireballs, basically. So like it counts the number of hits.
Okay.
Which means that right now it's 2 hits.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that it depletes all of the durability of Ken's OD fireball, and then he can still do the follow up, which we see in this clip.
So I
see how he does the follow up
for a second.
Sorry,
it was hard to see. I'm just really like I see how you
did another fireball.
It's pretty high up too. The fireball. It's it goes pretty slow.
And then he follows up with kill switch.
Are we assuming this entire process only takes 2 bars?
Yes, because it makes me think of stuff like DJs. I guess DJs is canned, but wouldn't be unreasonable.
Okay. So we see the OD fireball causes a knockdown before Ed gets there, so it doesn't keep him locked down.
Yeah, you get the pop up though, and then Oki.
Yeah, that's interesting. This is kind of DJ styles. Okay, and then he goes into the V-Scope.
That means a level 3, by the way, because if you have level 3, you can do probably that special into level 3. So
yeah. Okay, so then he knocks him up.
Yeah, he goes for the kill switch, but no follow up.
Yeah, into it again. Okay.
And then he goes for a shimmy.
Yeah, he goes for a shimmy.
Ken doesn't back rise. I wonder if it is intended to be a hard knockdown or if it is just a movie magic.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't notice that. And then
because it's not a throw, right? So that'd be unique.
I would assume that he can back rise though.
Yeah.
So
then he goes for. Oh yeah.
Sorry, he goes for the shimmy, and then the punish counter medium punch links into standing fierce.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Standing medium punch, standing heavy punch.
Was this standing medium punch cancelable, or was it only into target combo? Do you remember?
I don't. It's cancelable into flicker if that is a cancel.
Oh right, not again. Yeah.
Yeah. Which again, I guess to mention that briefly, if it does behave like Chun-Li's Serenity Stream, right?
Yeah.
Then some attacks that are not cancelable normally are cancelable into Chun-Li's stance. So it's a possibility that it would behave the same way for Ed for cancels into flicker. So I guess that doesn't particularly tell us if it is cancelable or not normally.
Okay.
Then we see here the snatcher into the upper. That's the anti-air version, right? Like the very high up.
Yeah, to knock him even higher up.
Then he follows up with the other upper.
Yeah, the one that doesn't.
That has a little bit of forward momentum. Like he runs up just slightly.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's for the damage, the damaggio. And then
combo.
here he has a cross up.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
It is
that's
interesting.
A punish counter is shown as well.
I thought that'd be another weakness he would have is no cross up. They do it like Balrog styles, but his cross up used to be jumping medium kick in Street Fighter 5. Obviously, no kicks. So now it looks like jumping medium punch, right?
I'm not sure.
We know it's not his jumping fierce.
It could be jumping heavy punch. That'd be fun.
I think they show his jumping fierce at the beginning, though. Remember, at the very beginning, they show it. He's like,
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this would probably jumping medium punch. I wonder what these kicks do midair.
Yeah, I wonder too.
Because this could be heavy kick, maybe then.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Right, I didn't even think about that.
Or medium kick, or
can you tell what strength the button is by the impact spark?
It's difficult because it's a punish counter.
Oh yeah,
and it's an air attack. It might be a medium. It looks
like a
medium based on the hit stop. If you count the frames of the hit stop, that technically is consistent between strengths. So I'm going to go with medium, and I think you were correct in that guess.
All right. Well, someone in the YouTube comments will calculate it for us. Yeah. Or someone in the chat.
Then that's the medium punch target combo
again.
Yeah. And
so that's the blitz.
The OD blitz. Yeah, I think so.
That's cool. Really cool animation for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did that specifically so he can go into level 2.
Yeah.
And then obviously Capcom designed this so it perfectly allows you to start a setup.
Yeah, that's interesting because he does like a anti-air snatcher, but like a mini snatcher.
Mm-hmm.
To knock Ken back into it again.
And then then he sways
and
forward.
Dashes up with the sway, yeah. Don't switch.
Then
he charges up a snatcher for a very long time there.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that the snatcher, like he's holding it extra long.
Okay.
And that kind of like goes to show that you have a perfect moment where you can release it early, right? Like you see his hand fully glow before he actually releases it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's just waiting for the basically the perfect moment to juggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in an ideal situation where you want to do a combo that requires the snatcher and you want to do it as fast as possible, you could do it a little bit faster than this, I think.
Right.
A little bit like,
the game is just saying, hey, it's fully charged at this point. Like you don't have to charge it any longer. Yeah. But obviously he's charged it longer for timing.
Especially because you could cancel out of this, right? Like with the back sway.
Mm-hmm. And then his follow-up, his blitz again?
Yeah. Probably the heavy version, if I were to guess.
Let's talk about this level 2 again. Like, what do you think about its power application in Street Fighter 6 compared to Street Fighter 5?
Well, it depends how many hits it is. I guess we could count them in this combo.
I asked the chat before. The chat said it looked like 5 to 6 hits.
It also depends on how early Ed is able to act out of the super, right? Because if you cancel into it on block immediately in Street Fighter 5 with the V trigger, he could push you away with his own dash and force you to block it at inconvenient moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it really is going to come down to if he can push you out, if they hold down. Because parry is obviously a much better defensive tool than in Street Fighter 5. So since you could hold down parry, it doesn't matter if Ed has an overhead or lows or crosses you up. Instead, the only option is to push you out and throw you, if he's able to do that. Otherwise, this will be strictly as a combo tool, or basically try to reset back to neutral and force the opponent to block or parry, and then just get out of the corner or whatever you need to do. And the child's also wondering, will this disappear if Ed gets hit? Like JP styles. We know with Rashid it doesn't.
Yeah.
And
well, there's another thing that I see that chat's talking about, which could be important to mention. In Street Fighter 5, you could decide the speed of this V trigger by holding back or forward.
Oh, right, the fast or slow. Yeah, good point.
So in this game, probably light, medium, heavy decides the speed.
Yep. There's gonna be a lot of cool, creative setups and combos, I would imagine, with this.
Yeah.
And in Burnout, it's gonna be extra deadly because you'll have no parry to defend yourself with. So it'll be a good round closer. Super.
Yeah. And you'd have to watch out for that flicker overhead, unless he has an actual overhead.
Yeah. It looks very tempting to jump over as opposed to Rashid's level 2.
Yeah. But then again, we have seen how Ed does the anti-air flicker, right? And does knock back. So it's possible that you could get sent straight into it.
Yeah, like if you decide to jump and be like, okay, I'm just gonna eat an anti-air just to avoid it, it might not come back, just like we see in this combo, and you'll end up eating the whole combo anyways. I wonder too if like, so I'm thinking of like JP, like will Ed be able to do DI, combo into DI, and then I'll knock it back into this, and then he'll DI you again and just burn you out, you know, something ridiculous. Like,
well, it depends on juggle potential, of course, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's really hard to say because they might have some system in place where that's not possible anymore, or specifically for this combo. I really do not know.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions about this thing
because Rashid really can't do that, right? Because of the way the super juggles you.
Yeah, that's right. It knocks you up in the air. This kind of just keeps you still. And yeah. I mean this is really what's gonna make or break, I think, Ed becoming a very powerful character in the game right now before the balance patch. And if this is as powerful as it looks, like will it be a case of like Ed players will only be used in his level 2? Kind of like how, you know, Blanca and Rashid players favor their level 2s over their level 3s altogether. Just curious. Can't wait to test it out, man. I can't wait to see the clips. Animation looks cool. Orb looks really cool. Combo looks
already
sick.
Thinking about the combo review.
Yeah, oh dude, yeah, have fun with that, Mir. Have fun with that. You're probably gonna have to do this combo. You have to do this combo for the combo video. Okay.
We see something interesting. We see how the Psycho Snatcher, the mini Snatcher on Punish Counter knocks down. Like it gives you
I noticed this too. It can whiff the standing heavy kick. And now this thing is also a punish counter. I'm like, man. I'm like, we get it, Capcom. You want us to whiff punish with this guy, but this is like going overboard now at this point, right? Like, this looks so powerful. I guess you have to charge it.
The idea is not that you are whiff punishing with this necessarily, but more as in you're throwing it out in neutral. And if the opponent is not careful, they can get punish countered and comboed, because at the end of the day, not only is it a critical forward kick, right, but you're also holding it a little bit, assuming that that's what's happening,
right,
to get this Psycho Snatcher. So the total startup is fairly long, and we see that Ed here sways a little bit, almost like when he's doing it. So maybe what they're trying to show is that Ed doesn't expand this hurt box unlike what he would do for a fireball.
Okay.
So like if you're trying to catch like an extended hurt box, this would catch you because he doesn't actually, you know, present you a bigger hurt box, and then you get whiff punished.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I like if they make a drive rush a punish counter state, this would be really powerful too, because it would cause the crumple and someone drove rushing on you.
Yeah. And then we see he gets his drive rush combo.
I just love all the anti. Sorry, I just love all the anti-Ken tech they're showing in this. Like, they're showing Ed dodge his Dragon Lash kick, and then his heavy kick, and then his throw loops. I don't know, I just find it amusing. Like, his fireball. Like, they're just trying to show all anti-Ken stuff. This is amusing. Okay, go ahead.
This is something interesting because immediately in this drive rush, right, you see how he does his low flicker.
Yeah.
But it does have the green effect, which I'm not sure if it carries over to special moves normally.
It does
which
not.
Again makes me think that you can do this kind of version of flickers
100%
when you are not doing the motion.
You 100% do not maintain green. When I know for this is one of the first things I tested was Chun-Li doing drive rush into Serenity Stream into her stance, and it does not turn green. She cancels out of it. So here we go again, Mir.
This further solidifies the theory that there's both like
Mir wants to
kick,
be right on this.
flickers, and then like a special version.
Yeah. This is very weird. Now that we've seen this, I'm leaning towards your side now.
Like, the one thing that made me doubt that in the first place, right, was the fact that that is cancelable.
Yeah.
And we see it being canceled here, and he goes for a combo.
Yeah. So he's not doing the juggle version, but he's high enough anyways. Like I noticed Ken's not spinning around. By the way, I just noticed too, if you look at the foreground or the very bottom of the screen, and you can kind of see the reflections on the floor, looks really cool. Looks really nice. I just noticed that now, sorry. Anyways. So he goes into Blitz straight into level 3.
Yeah.
So the chat was pointing out that the Aki trailer, it showed her regular level 3, not her CA, and the sound effect does not have the CA sound.
So
I don't know if that's
just a normal level 3.
It's possible. They could have like did a transition to see it. Well, I think this level 3.
Yes.
It's ridiculous and silly. What do you think of this level 3? It tells me Capcom is not happy with Ken.
This whole boxer thing.
I mean, it fits the boxing vibe, but we're reaching levels of like Seth Ultra 1, Street Fighter 4, and Abigail Super, Speed Bag. Like, this is. I mean, I think this is taking the boxer aspect a little too literally. You know, literal, and something tells me. I mean, Ken's not having a good time.
I mean, this is like a Green Lantern moment where, you know, the Green Lanterns have the power of like doing whatever they want with that ring. And Hal Jordan's like, I was an aviator, so I just make planes, haha. This is like, Ed is like, I'm a boxer, so I just do boxing things with my psycho power. This is the same exact situation.
The chat loves it. I mean, we'll see. Like, we'll see. Maybe the CA version looks a lot better. I don't know. Just like, I just find it because Ed just seems like a very serious character in this game right now. Very serious. And then we see this Super, and it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this Super. All I'm gonna say is that his Street Fighter 5 Super was amazing. It was super cool. He did like a kind of like a Dempsey role, but this Super is just ridiculous. I wish. It doesn't like it's in the corner, right? I kind of wish we saw how far Ed moves, because look, he's charging up his punch. Like we can't, like he looks like he's just doing his heavy punch. And yeah, I was kind of hoping it'd be something where he dashes forward so I can go through fireballs and punish people from fireballs really far away so I can clutch, right? But instead this is like an attack, so like to me, from a gameplay point of view, this would be a weakness, unless he moves forward with his punch like a charge heavy punch. But I can't tell, obviously. I'm just thinking of it from like, you know, strength point of view. And yeah, is Ed gonna be the anti-Ken, bro? Like I got fool me once, Capcom, with Aki versus JP, but will they fool me twice, Mir? I don't know.
Are you trying to say that was a bad matchup all along?
I'm trying to say it wasn't free for Aki, and JP was.
I don't think they were trying to say that it was free for Aki, but
I don't know, man. It was like a really good timing where JP was like public enemy #1, and I think it's also no coincidence that once again Ken is another public enemy right now with the Capcom Cup placements, and they're showing Ed versus Ken specifically. They also showed Aki too, though. What do you think about this windscreen pose? Wallpaper?
Well, so like the pose is fine. However, he said the no word again. He said potential.
Oh, hold on a second. Ooh.
That is
yeah.
That is a red flag, if you ask me. Big red flag.
I did not notice it. That is the content creator's curse. So back in Street Fighter 5, whenever we reviewed a character, or before we came out and we did our, you know, whatever, we used to say that character's potential, which is kind of the kiss of death. And it means your character is guaranteed bottom 3. So Ed saying that himself is alarming, to say the least.
Well, unless it's Falk, and then it was this character is zero potential.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I don't say it myself. Oh man, why did you mention that, Mir? What the heck? No Akuma teaser,
maybe
by
it's
the
a
way.
reference. You know, maybe the people at Capcom, they're like they're trolling us. They're
Yeah,
like,
they're like
we know about your potential memes.
Super self-aware, like fourth wall stuff. And no Akuma teaser, by the way, at the end.
You were expecting one?
No, of course, dude. I was telling the chat if they did tease Akuma, bro. If like let's say like the cloud kind of slowly disappears and you see just Akuma's back, or you hear Miss Suts, no one would be talking about Ed today. They'd be talking about Akuma all day.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I feel like if they are going to tease Akuma, it's exactly what you're saying. They're gonna show either red eyes glowing in the dark, the kanji, or you know, like hear his voice do the grunt.
But this sets us up. This sets us up now, though. Like now that we've seen the Ed reveal and gameplay, this almost guarantees that we'll get an Akuma teaser at the end of Capcom Cup, or maybe a balance patch teaser, or both. So that's exciting at the very least, and then we can start speculations on Akuma.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally feel that the balance patch has to be coming really fast after Capcom Cup. So I wouldn't even be surprised if it would happen with Ed, but like I'd expect at this point to be a little bit afterwards. So yeah, a teaser is possible for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're gonna show a showcase too. They did it for some of the balance patches in Street Fighter V, but I'm sure they would this time because they're gonna, and they'll have like the developers blog, because they had a developers blog on the Costume 3s. And we're not gonna see Ed's Costume 3, by the way, until Akuma is released as well. Should point that out.
Yeah, that's true. I'm curious to see if for Ed and you know, the balance patch, if that happens shortly after, how they will cover it officially. You know, like how much will they break down the changes and stuff, or if it's just gonna be patch notes again? Because they tried it for Ultra Street Fighter 4, so maybe they'll do it again.
Right. So overall, now that we've watched this trailer super in depth, the stage, everything, are you pleased, Mir, after waiting over 5 months for this character? In between
yes, I think so. I think he's very striking. I
Pun
don't
intended?
know, like unintended.
Okay.
But damn it, now you made me forget.
I'm sorry, Mir. Oh, my bad. I agree. He is very striking.
I'm happy. I'm happy with the way he looks. I think he has very unique animations. I'm glad that they doubled down on the, you know, like being a boxer thing.
Yeah.
Then I'm glad that by the end of this breakdown, we kind of figured out this stupid psycho flicker.
I know the YouTube comments are gonna go crazy when they watch this video. Like, man, would you guys stop talking about it?
The first 5 minutes is like, oh, they have no idea how it works.
Yeah,
Let me post a comment about it.
Unsubscribe.
But in general, he seems fairly interesting. He has actually quite a lot of tools, and even though he's lacking like the psycho rising and stuff, I don't think it will be myth, because they seem to have compensated for, you know, the things they've taken out with new stuff. In general, more depth. I like how he animates. I think I mentioned that before, but I feel like this is a character that for sure would try out. You know, like
really?
others,
Okay, cool.
I can see like, oh, you know, they're cool, but I wouldn't play them. But it seems potentially like it'd be interesting. You know,
He doesn't seem rushed at all.
Mid-range control character that also has, you know, like more rushdown stuff, but also the versatility of, you know, I also have a fireball. Like if I need to play maybe a little bit more full screen, I can, right? Like with the mini snatchers trying to hit you from further away and stuff, right? To check drive rush and whatnot. Like I feel he's not the kind of character that is lacking a tool, like very distinctively lacking a tool that you say, oh, you know, he's gonna struggle in this matchup, right? Yeah, anti-fireball, decent movement, where like sway options. He has a cross up. He seems like he has potential.
Oh god. Assuming he has a reversal, assuming he has a 4-framer, because that crouching light punch / light kick is suspicious. And how minus his stuff is, how susceptible he is to jumps, he does look strong. But like I said, it's so hard to tell from these gameplay trailers, man. They do such a good job making each character look absolutely amazing. But like I said, it doesn't look like he's rushed even at all. And this was a difficult character for them to work on because he is a rework. I would say more of a rework than Rashid was. So it looks like they took a lot of time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially because they had to change his whole motion thing, right? Like now he has real normal motions.
Right. And it also looks like he's a very important point of the story too, focal point of the story. Because, you know, I was surprised when we first saw those leaks that Ed was returning in Street Fighter 6. So we can kind of see why, like, he doesn't seem like an afterthought character. The world tour is leading up through this Shadaloo stuff. And like I said, his gameplay is completely reworked. So I hope, you know, people watching this give him a chance, a second chance, if you will.
Yeah.
And
I think this might set up my my tinfoil theory of Shadaloo Island perfectly.
Yep, here we go again. And it also makes me really excited for the rest of the future cast, right? Especially with Akuma, with like how much Capcom is willing to change. I'm sure Ed's a special case because once again, the way his control scheme was set up, but Akuma is going to be amazing, dude.
Oh,
it's going to be super.
I mean,
hype.
they know that they cannot screw that one up, right? But they know how important it is, which I think is why they intentionally put him at the end of the DLC season to kind of like gauge how people would react to DLCs and stuff, just to make sure that he's perfect. And I think the quality of the characters overall is has been high. And Ed, I feel like he strikes me as being they put more effort in than Aki and Rashid. Not that they haven't tried with those, but they had more time with him.
Yeah,
you can see how the design has matured more, and now that they're closer to you know, season 2, they probably also have a better idea of how he's supposed to be playing in the new season as well, right?
I think so too.
Whichever changes they might implement.
I agree. I think so too. I'm also excited for World Tour. Not everyone plays World Tour, but I hope they add some cool new missions for Ed. And I wonder if he's gonna be chilling in the subway, the subway part. Are we actually gonna, or is this actually gonna be an area that we can visit? This abandoned Shadaloo base. And I guess we can assume now too that the final stage, Mirror, is gonna be an Akuma stage. When did they show his gameplay trailer too?
Yeah, maybe it was gonna be a temple atop of a hill, or maybe it's gonna be his cave.
I hope it's a cave.
It's gonna be his man cave. Maybe we're gonna see what happens inside Akuma's cave. He's gonna have his gaming laptop in the corner.
I hope it's just a little bit outside the cave. Like, I like his Street Fighter 3 stage, is really sick. Compared to the cave in Alpha 3, where it's like in there, but yeah, I mean, there'd be another stage that would be, you would think it'd be dark, but Capcom will find a way to light it up with like candles and stuff. Right, Mary, you ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, before it turns into an Akuma video.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it already is turning into the Akuma video. So, yeah, thanks guys for sitting through this and listening to us yap non-stop about things that we don't fully understand for who knows how long this video is. It's over an hour long, easily, maybe even 2 hours long, but I'm sure we'll be talking about Ed throughout the month, Mir. And we can find a way to do a third video, maybe. Who knows?
We're gonna make a video how Psycho Flicker works.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the YouTube comments are already typing a storm, informing us the proper way. They've all play tested. So let us know if you guys have any corrections, or you guys noticed something from the gameplay trailer that Mir and I missed, which we definitely did. Please point that out. And then maybe we can follow up with a third video. Super exciting, man. Can't wait for this card to be released at the end of the month on the 27th after Capcom Cup. All right, guys. We're clocking out. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.